Hey Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel where it's all Juve all the time. I'm Alberto and I'm going to bring you a preview of Juve's match this weekend tomorrow against Bologna. All right, we are going to talk about the press conference which Max Allegri held today, and then I'm going to take you into some slides which will show you a little bit of a breakdown of what we can expect from the opponent. Okay, so real quick, in other news, round of 16 opponent for Coppa Italia has been named for Juventus in their bracket, and it's going to be Sampdoria. Okay, so Juventus will first line up against Sampdoria. Now, to Max Allegri's press conference. Very, very simple and straightforward. Dybala unavailable. We expected Dybala would be out until after the Christmas break now, okay, the winter break. I think it's more precautionary more than anything, but don't expect him versus Bologna or Cagliari, okay? Max reiterating he will not be there for Bologna. Max is going to decide between Caio Jorge, Morata, and Keane in who he places in the attacking roles, okay? So still undecided on that. Locatelli, we know Locatelli was battling a bout of gastroenteritis, and he will be assessed according to Max Allegri. I would be surprised if Locatelli does not play. Okay, so I'm expecting Locatelli to be in there. Ramsey unavailable. Shocking. Okay, moving on. Chiesa. Chiesa is recovering and recovering well again. Expected back after the break, same as Dybala. The exact times uncertain still with both Chiesa and Dybala. Okay, so we just continue to monitor that. Kulishevsky. Max Allegri, question about Kulishevsky. He does not have 90 minutes yet. Remember that Kulishevsky had sinusitis surgery, and apparently he is not able to put in a full 90 as of yet. Chiellini could be absent against Bologna. And in other words, Sandro. Sandro is competing with Pellegrini for the left back spot. Now those words coming out of Max's mouth. A couple of weeks ago or last week even, Max was talking about Pellegrini, saying that he's growing and doing well, and he's a good alternative to Sandro. And this caused a bit of an uproar with fans because everybody believes he should be starting. I took it as a positive and said, "Hey, this is promising that he's speaking highly of the young left back." And now we see it, a week on, and now all of a sudden it's Sandro that's competing for that spot with Pellegrini. So I think Max is hopefully, doing what we all want and turning a bit of the corner for himself personally, and maybe going to the younger guys a bit more. So again, time will tell. All right, time will tell. But that's pretty much the gist of the press conference he had. Nothing crazy or wild coming out of it by any means. It was all pretty much expected. And now we're going to take a look at the opponent, the one we're going to face, Bologna. Okay, so let's pull up the first slide here. Bologna, very, very straightforward and not a lot to break down. The reason is that you're not going to see a whole lot of sequences that come really out of the training pitch. They're a very straightforward team. They play a 3-4-3 that can sometimes look like a 3-5-2 with a center attacking midfielder, okay? They like to get those wingbacks heavily involved. So here you see a standard attacking set, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight across the top, getting into the area. They, again, not a whole lot that you're going to see out of scenarios or training pieces on the pitch. You are just going to see a team that works hard, that sends guys forward and tries to just create havoc based on pressure and asking questions. Now, we'll move on to another slide. This one ends up in the back of the net as it makes its way over. He still had an open man on the side should he choose to, but they end up scoring on this one. Again, they like to get the fullbacks heavily involved. They send extra midfielders, and they will have two forwards at all times, usually Pero and Arnautovic, okay? And two different profiles, which is also worth to see because Barrow's a little bit more all around, but Barrow can really likes to work off one of the wings and cut his way in, usually the left wing, and cut his way in. And Arnautovic, more of your typical target man, okay? So here you see a little bit more of what they like to do. And again, line you up almost straight across, man for man. But look at that wing back all of a sudden beating his man, catching him sleeping. Arnautovic showing for the ball. This ball came from actually out of the screen. Defender Arnautovic with the dummy and wingback Di Silvestri all alone puts it home. Okay, so again, they like to get everybody involved. They will try to catch you in this flux where your defenders, if you're playing a 4-back system, will get stuck and they're going to ask your midfielders to come back and do a job. So this is exactly kind of what happens in this scenario. And yeah, that player just getting beat to his man. So how do you hurt them? Well, typical of teams that play that way, okay, they do defend with a 5-man wall at the back. They like to not make it a full 5-4-1 defensively, but almost like a 5-3-2 so that they can counter a bit. Now, sometimes when they recover the ball, especially deep, pressure is what's going to get to Bologna. So here you see them struggling and just cannot get out because of the pressure, and it falls back. Opponent takes the ball, they get an open shot from the top of the area and actually finish. So pressure is going to do it to Bologna, okay? And also, of course, if they want to push an attack like that as wide open as they usually do, which they may not against Juventus, this is another thing. They might be a little more calculated. Then again, if they're going to come out hard like that, send those numbers, your counter attacking becomes key, something Juventus needs to figure out. And this is why that 4-4-2 was hurting us a lot. Our counters became almost non-existent, and they were non-existent. We had quite a few matches where we literally received 0 counterattacks in what we were seeing. Okay, that can't happen. We have to be ready to do that if they decide that they want to push. And if they don't push, then it just becomes a matter of slowing down Arnautovic and potentially Barrow. Bologna will stretch the field if they have to by leaving those two up there and letting them work and then trying to gain field position by sending the support. Okay, so the long stretch balls are there. Again, I feel confident in any of our defensive combinations to kind of shut that down and eat that up. That's not a style anybody really wants to make plan A, okay? But it's something that Bologna does possess and can do. Another way to hurt them, of course, really, really quick and simple. Bologna, all these teams that like to play with this 5-man wall at the back and support defensively with their midfielders, leave the top of the area open and tend to collapse a bit too much. Okay, so here you have it, collapsing a bit too much. Ball falls to the top. This one actually does end up in the back of the net on a shot, but you see there's multiple options there. So again, this is common of these teams that like to play that way. There's nothing spectacular. There's nothing fancy about Bologna, okay, in anything that they do. But they are well drilled, okay? They work hard and they know what they want to attempt and how they want to do it, okay? So there's nothing fancy, there's nothing extravagant about it, but again, they'll send numbers when they need to. They can stretch you out if you're trying to put that press on them and hold them back. They're not afraid to take those long balls, so we still have to be aware in that sense. But if we want to control possession and play a slow game, it's going to be hard for us to create. And the only way for us to do that is to, in some way, open ourselves up because we're going to have to send numbers and we're going to have to hurt them just in quantity of waves offensively and just continue to put them under and put them under and put them under. So again, this is going to be a tough game. We know that Juventus struggles in goals this season, and we might just see a team that's going to potentially shut that door at the back and play that way. A lot of the teams that typically play in this 5-man wall at the back this season, we haven't seen it to the degree that we have in years past. And that's just speaking more to Juventus's struggles in scoring this year. That fear factor is kind of gone, and teams are a little more open, a little more willing, to open up against us. And Juve's got to be ready and able to attack that and take advantage of it. Okay, so this one, Juventus will have to come out of the gate hard. And again, we should be in a game plan where we hurt them in numbers and quantity of waves and create havoc. Okay, we need to just put them under, pin them back, and go. Hold them to just long balls to Bero, Arnautovic, whoever's up top there, and eat those up, and then continue to hit them with waves. Ball movement has to be quick and sharp, and again, can't be scared to send men forward. We will see 5 at the back one way or another. They just might cheat one of the wing backs if we're not necessarily having much bite in our attack. Okay, that's it for a look against Bologna there. And that's it for the news today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, stay tuned tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, where we do the match day live. Okay, we'll take you through all the build-up leading up to this one, all the news. We're going to have some fun topics, of course, do trivia, and then get to the prediction challenge. We'll see you then. Fino alla fine, Forza Juventus. Ciao.